Okay, welcome to session 3. We're going to cover 2 more musical concepts, ties and dots, before we're ready to move on to the next section. Let's talk about ties first. The problem we have is we need to have long notes in music. Now, a whole note will hold for 4 beats. We learned about that. But what if I want a note to hold for 6 beats or 8 or something beyond a bar line? How do we do that? Well, we cover that problem with a thing called a tie. That arced line that you see over those 2 notes, that is what's called a tie. And it is linking those 2 notes together. So as you're seeing in that first example, the whole note is tied over the bar line to the half note. And how this is played, the half note gets 2 beats, the whole note gets 4 beats. So I add all of those together. I don't replay that half note when I get to it. I just give his 2 beats to the whole note to make a total of 6 beats. See how that works? I'm just tying those 2 notes together. I don't replay that second note. I just add them both together. In example 2, you'll see a quarter note, half note, and then a quarter note that's tied over the bar line to a note of the same pitch. Ties are always to the note of the same pitch. You're never going to see them going between different pitches. If they're going between different pitches, that's what's called a slur, and we don't really see those too much in guitar music. So the tie goes over the bar line with those quarter notes, then another quarter note, and then a half note tied over to a whole note. So if I was to play this, I'm just going to do on a first string E, and I'll play that example 2. Ready? Go. 1, 1, 2, tied over the bar line here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that works? The next concept we need to talk about is dots. Now, dots add something to the note. Dots add, here's the rule, dots add 1/2 of whatever they're attached to. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at our example. In our half note example, I have a half note with a dot on it. A half note gets 2 beats. The dot, what does the dot get? The dot gets half of whatever it's attached to. So, half note gets 2, the dot would then get 1. So you add them all up together, and that gets 3. Our next example is a whole note. What if I put a dot on a whole note? Usually about this stage, everybody gets it. I get it. A dot adds 1. Well, it's a little bit more to it than that. If it's attached to a half note, it adds 1. If it's attached to a whole note, it adds more than that. Let's figure it out. A dotted whole note, the whole note gets 4. The dot, what does the dot get? Half of whatever it's attached to. Half of 4 is 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. So a dotted whole note is going to be 6. You're not going to see that very much, but I wanted you to see the difference between the other one. Here's one you're going to see a little bit more. A dotted quarter note. Now think about, what would this be? The quarter note gets 1, and the dot, what would the dot get? The dot would just get a half, because it's half of whatever it's attached to, and it's attached to just 1. So 1 plus a half would be 1.5. And that wouldn't make up a complete beat, but usually you'd see it followed by another 8th note, and that's how they make those rhythms work. And that's ties and dots. Okay, let's talk about 8th notes. Now, 8th notes are part of that group of rhythms that we talked about at the very beginning. Whole notes get 4 beats, half notes get 2 beats, quarter notes get 1 beat, and now we're going to subdivide that 1 beat. We're going to split the 1 beat, and we're going to go to 8th notes, which each get a half a beat. Now, as it's played on the guitar, when you have several of the same note on the same string, you would alternate your picking. Remember what we did in that first session? We did a finger pattern of down, up, down, up. We're going to apply that now when we're working with 8th notes. If the notes are the same pitch, let's say you had a bunch of E's in a row, then instead of just going down, 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 you just go down, up, down, up. So I wouldn't go down, 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 down. I would go down.